You're listening to Travel Nursing and Allied Life, hosted by TravCon.
Hi, it's Tricia.
Hi, this is Cyndi.
We're from TravCon.
And welcome to Newbie News.
So today we're going to talk about why be a traveler. What makes you decide to be a traveler, and what are the things that you do? Cyndi, what made you decide to be a traveler?
I wanted the adventure. I wanted the experience of working in different locations and in different facilities to see how different places tackle the same problems that we all face in our practice. I wanted the adventure. That was the big thing.
The adventure is fun. So, and I started because literally I was broke. I was in a divorce. I had nowhere to live. I lived far from family, and there was no reason for me to stay where I was at. Mm-hmm. Adventure has always been my thing. Moving is very easy for me because we moved a lot as a child, and even when I was married to my first husband, we moved a lot. So I thought, why not? This is the time to do it.
Absolutely.
And fortunately, back in the early days when I started traveling, you could be broke and travel because you got paid well and they paid for lots of things. Mm-hmm. Doesn't quite happen that way anymore. So, which brings us to the fact a lot of people travel for money. Yeah. And while that can be a good goal, to have a goal set for, you know, are you making a lot of money? Are you trying to pay off bills? Are you trying to pay off school loans? Whatever you're doing. And it can be done. There's no doubt that it can be done. We see a lot in our social media today about how people are paying off all their bills, their cars, their houses, and those kinds of things. And they're doing it in one contract or two contracts. And reality is, with today's market and the amounts that you get, you can pay off a lot of things, but you're not going to probably pay off all of that much debt unless you're working 24/7. Like you're working every day of the week to pull in that big overtime money that you would get when you're a traveler. So money is definitely good. We realize that what you make in 2 weeks or what you make in a week is more than what you make in 2 weeks is at any given job, but you also have to take into account you're paying for 2 living expenses.
Yes.
So, you know, understand that when you're traveling, that when you're paying 2 living expenses, that's not always more than what you think it is. It's, even though it looks like double, you're paying double.
Yes.
So that's always a kind of thing. Traveling for adventure is always the best. You know, I tell people that I work with and mentor, make your list. I made a bucket list. Like, these are the things I wanted to see. These are the things I wanted to do. And that way I could pick from my list and from the jobs opening to determine where to go next. So say I wanted to see Niagara Falls, well, then I wanted a contract somewhere close enough that I could go to Niagara Falls and see that as well as other things in the area. So, but make sure your list is big enough and that you have a good variety, because always contracts are not open where you want to go, and you may have to wait and do it at a different time. Like your timeline might not be the same as the job openings. So I think that's a good thing.
Definitely. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what are the qualities of a successful traveler.
Oh, good.
What do you as a professional need to think about when you're considering jumping into the life of a traveling healthcare professional? So I think you have to have an open heart and an open mind.
Got it out.
Very, very important. I think you have to have some confidence, not only in your skill set, but in yourself. You very often are going to be going to new places, going to be meeting new faces. You're going to have a certain level of confidence, and you have to kind of know whether or not, do you fear the unknown or do you embrace the unknown? Because as a travel nurse or a traveling healthcare professional, you're going to be out there. You need to have enough confidence in yourself to be able to handle whatever comes your way.
And you have to think about all the different cultures that you're going to come into contact with that you may not have ever had any experience with. And so you've got to be able to adjust accordingly to those.
Absolutely. I think you also need to evaluate how much of a self-starter you are.
Oh, definitely.
Facilities are basically hiring you in order to jump in the pool and start swimming with them. So if you, while granted they're going to give you certain tools, they're going to give you a certain guide as to how they like to swim in their swimming pool, so to speak. At the same time, you have to be able to adapt to that, and it may be a very, very different, different idea than you've had in some of your previous work experience. So that's really, really important as well too. And I think you also need to be a problem solver. You definitely have to embrace the change and be able to problem solve, which for most medical professionals is not usually that big of a deal. That's what we do. That's what we do on a daily, hourly, sometimes minute by minute eval when dealing with patients. But you're going to have to do it when you're walking into a new facility or in a new town in order to try and figure it out.
And you know that one sentence that every facility hates you to say? That's not the way we did it where I came from. So remember that. That's one thing you do not want to say when you're traveling. So with those types of things, we want to give you some resources to help you become a traveler, successful traveler. And one of the things, of course, is social media. And there's a lot of resources out on social media. You can see them. One of the things that I do recommend is the Travel Nursing Newbies group, because it's run by someone who's very good in travel nursing as well as recruiters. So you have both in there to help you with knowing both sides and that information. You have to apply to get in there. You have to answer the questions, so make sure you answer all the questions if you're really interested in that. Also with social media, I recommend that you find pages that are specific to your specialty. So as a NICU nurse, I'm in the NICU room. So there's ER rooms, there's OR rooms, there's all kinds of places, L&D, but find those that are specific to your specialty so that you can have that conversation with people who do the same thing that you do. I think that's very important.
Absolutely. Another great resource is the book Highway Hypodermics by Epstein LaRue. It's kind of my go-to travel Bible. Everything from negotiating a contract to picking a recruiter to that ever-challenging subject of taxes, tax home, stipends, all of those things. And that can be a very complicated thing to navigate through. And it's a great, great reference.
It is a great reference. And Kay who Epstein LaRue that wrote this book, was a traveler, is a traveler sometimes still. She doesn't travel as much as, all the time, but she does still travel. And it's written also with Joseph Smith, who owns Travel Tax, who is a very, very good reference for you in terms of your taxes. He will talk to you. He doesn't charge you to talk to you on the phone or email you. And it's also written with Aaron Highfield. So Aaron also helped write this book. So if you're interested in international type travel, he's the go-to person for that too. He's kind of the guru for how to get those things done. So those are all good references. There is also the chance that there are classes that you can take that, kind of walk you through it, help you get your recruiter, those kinds of things. They're expensive, but if that's your learning curve, as opposed to reading social media and doing research on your own, there are classes that you can take. You can look them up online. They're usually cost anywhere from like $500 to $1,000. Personally, I would never spend that money to do that when I can look it up for free, but some people do that, and that's okay, because that's how you learn and how you want to approach what you do.
And of course, one of the greatest things you can do is to come to TravCon.
Absolutely.
Come to TravCon, come to Las Vegas, even if you're still on the fence as to whether or not you want to be a travel nurse. Come to Newbie Boot Camp. It's a great way to not only meet people who are currently living this lifestyle, but it's a great opportunity to get all your questions answered. It's a great opportunity to meet with agencies and recruiters from all over the country. Great place to ask your questions. It's wonderful to build that network that you're going to need out there in the travel community to make you feel maybe a little less lonesome,
right?
As well. And overall, it's just it's just an amazing, wonderful experience. So I would truly encourage you to really think about coming to TravCon. Come as a dreamer, and who knows, maybe you'll leave as a traveler.
And I wish they'd had TravCon when I first started. Because those of us who've done it very long, we learned by the School of Hard Knocks.
Yes, absolutely.
And as things change, we had to learn with those changes. But now you can come and get the most up-to-date information on how to get your contracts, and how to negotiate, how to do your taxes, all of those things. Even you can do destinations, like we have talks about destination places to go. So yeah, TravCon is a great place, and it's always in September. It's always in Las Vegas. You can look it up through travelersconference.com as you get the dates and all the things. It's already on the website, so you can go in and look at it. We do encourage you to do that, and we'd love to see you there. You'll never meet more travelers in one place ever in your life than you meet there, because last year, we didn't get to have it this year, but the year before we had 1,400.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing amount. This conference has never been advertised. It's only by word of mouth. We grew from like 100 people 12 years ago, I think, now, and it's really an amazing thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess to wrap this up, the big messages we'd like to leave you with is know yourself, do your research.
Absolutely.
And put all that together and decide whether or not the traveling life is really for you. Just remember, fear prevents you from living a boring life. So educate yourself, do your research, and decide for yourself, is the travel life will be part of your best life.
Okay, so we'll see you next time on Newbie News.
All right, see you then.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Travel Nursing and Allied Life. You can find the full show notes below or at travcon.org. Please help us out by rating our podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a comment below or email us at podcast@travcon.org.